everybody. My name is Gbohunmi and I'm the creator of the Eyewitness podcast. On this podcast, we share our love for God over good food. Today, I have the most exciting guest for us. He's a culture shaper, a professed Gen Z lover, and a generation leader. Today, I have the fantastic Gen Z pastor.
Hi. It's really good to have myself here. All right, how are you doing, Gbohunmi?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
Very good. I'm excited to be here.
Me too. I'm excited that you're here.
We're going to really uncover a lot of things, I guess.
Yes.
Right. So
Yes.
I'm really excited.
Thank you. My first question. You have to tell me the origin of the Gen Z pastor. Wait, because I was like, I don't. What's this?
It's very crazy, right? Like, who gave you this
not Gen
audacity?
Z.
Yeah.
Not Gen Z.
First of all, I'm not Gen Z. Right. I'm maybe like a year after. So I'm like.
So like you're UK Gen Z, depending on what country you're in.
Exactly. Right. So something was meant to start in my church and all of that was going to cater to like Gen Z, the demography and all of that, right? And it wasn't announced, but it was just in few circles. And couple of friends, random people just called me Gen Z pastor. It was like,
so
now they call me Gen Z
spontaneous.
yeah, like,
and then you're like, I like it.
and then it just dawned that, okay, people are already calling me this. I like
might
it.
as well.
And then I just took it personal, right? And so I remember I opened a mail that time, right? And I didn't have any other name to use. So I just used Gen Z. So I just said, oh, let me just use this.
It was meant to be.
Right, so from then I just liked it. Okay. And I think sort of like purpose just shifted to that, yeah. So
it was ordained.
Yeah.
It was orchestrated.
So please, Gen Z.
So if I see you outside, I'll just shout, sorry.
You can do that time.
I'm a fan. Sorry. Okay, we're back. Before we go into this podcast, you have to try this and rate it. We have to.
Okay.
I have to see how
I'll have to watch how you're going to do that first.
Bruh, just it doesn't matter. Okay, let's do this first. Okay, process. I don't know if you want syrup shower.
I
don't know how you feel about that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, let me do it closer. All right.
Fantastic. All right.
Okay.
Let's see.
This meal was curated and plated by the Fluffy Cafe.
I beg.
Exactly.
Okay. Nice Ada. Please help me. You already cut your own. No.
Sorry. Am I bad? I take full responsibility. I apologize.
Let's see.
Fantastic. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not a waffles girl. I struggle, but this is good. I like the syrup.
This is nice, so please. Can I finish it before?
Yes, now. That's why I brought you here. There's two things that I love.
don't think I can match up because of this fucking knife thing.
Okay, I'll slow down.
Okay. I'm dragging it out.
Okay. You're almost two. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Good part.
It's really nice.
I'm happy.
Okay.
So what are we thinking?
Can I finish this?
Of course. All yours. So what are we thinking? On a scale of like, let's say 1 to 10?
So I tasted with the syrup and without the syrup.
Prefer with syrup.
Yeah, definitely. But I really like it. I think so. Well, I'm not necessarily into like.
Okay, but layout.
Like food.
Do you like this?
Layout is really great.
I'm glad.
Right? Really amazing.
Work hard. Fluffy Cafe, please.
Okay, Fluffy Cafe.
Yes.
All right, what's this? Eggs?
Yes, you can eat that. I mean,
no, not now.
Okay. We'll take our time. Take our time. Okay, let me dive back on food because me, I'm a foodie. I'll talk about food from today till tomorrow. But it's Jesus first. Let's address the rumors. We heard it's alive.
That's the main food.
Hey, bread of
life.
Okay. it doesn't I don't think it takes long for somebody to like learn about you or encounter you to see how much you, I think, care about communicating Christ to the generation, right? I see all this content that you put out about, like, to me it feels like simple, digestible truth about Christ, and it seems like you put a lot of work into it. My question is, where does that passion come from?
First off, is God given.
Okay.
I'm not going to take that out.
Okay.
First off, right? Like I just, it's innate. It's like, right? I literally don't think about any other thing I can really do, and I'm not even trying to like. I'm not trying to be spooky, right? I'm actually
for
telling,
real.
When I think of my future, maybe like 2 years, if I'm meant to have a plan for the next 3 years, right? I have a video on my phone where a certain pastor really told us to talk about what we see ourselves doing in 5 years. And the only thing I could really think of was being in spaces where people are having conversations about God and I'm able to proclaim the truth.
Wow.
Like that's what I was trying to think of, like all those grandiose vision, like, oh, I want to be in the middle of, and all of that, right? So that one is natural. Secondly, most of what I'm surrounded by is content about the Bible, right? God, people, community, and how much, we have to communicate what God thinks about this generation. Right? So because of that, I'm more tilted towards always doing that. Right? So if I open my Instagram now, my Instagram is so filtered to the point that if I open that's most of what I'm seeing. And it's not because I curated it myself, it's just that's what I'm overly exposed to. So the algorithm just by default, that's what I just create. Like, okay, I have to create something around this.
I think my what pops in my head now is it the creative expression that ended up do you see yourself on a pulpit? Let me start from there. Like pastor, not Gen Z pastor, congregation pastor.
Congregation, like being a pastor or being on the pulpit, they are two different things.
Being on the pulpit, I mean, actually, not being.
Yeah, definitely. I'm not going to lie. First of all, backstory.
Called out.
I have pastor parents, right? So I grew up in the church, literally. Of course, not in the church building, but waking up, and I'm the only child.
Yeah.
So come up, wake up, let's go to church, come back.
I feel you.
So wake up, let's go to church, come back home, church, wake up, morning devotion.
Everything.
So I'm not one of those pastors' kids that don't have proper images of what it means to be a pastor. Yes, so I'm okay being on the pulpit.
Okay.
Right?
You're comfortable with
that. If I'm on the pulpit, I don't want it to be that I am. I just want to just teach people.
What? I don't understand.
That's all. Like, there's the you're on the pulpit week in, week out, same space, same station, same time. And
not same station, same time. The creative in me cannot take that.
Yes, I would rather express it in different stations, right? And and all of that.
Okay.
But I'm not averse to it.
Okay. So you just mentioned like your background, right? In general, my parents. I don't even know how to say this. My parents were. My mother is still a pastor.
Okay.
My father is lead. So it's hard to group them together. My parents were ministers. My mother is still a minister. My question is, when you grow up in church, right, it seems almost second nature, all these things about God and Christ and stuff. At what point would you first remember having like an encounter, like realizing that this guy is a real person? It's not just like what my parents talk about, what they talk about in church. Do you remember like that click where it changed for you?
I can pin out two times.
Go ahead.
First, I'm not necessarily the biggest intellectual, but I like to have intellectual conversations. So, my parents preaching, they were not big on the intellectual part. I have very smart parents, right? But that wasn't their purview. That wasn't their approach to teaching the gospel. It was Bible, and all of that. So I always had questions. I was very inquisitive as a child. I'm like, what does this mean? What do you mean by you're in the belly of the fish for 3 days? What do you mean by someone was preaching to the same set of people for 3.5 years? And all of that, right? I didn't necessarily have the answers from the intellectual perspective, but one thing my parents made me do was they cooked me well, right? To always be in that space where I can always, if by random ordination I find the answer, it's because they placed me in that atmosphere, right? But at a particular point when I was leaving secondary school, I began to like skip, like, maybe this thing make I just be bad boy, right?
The dark was calling to you.
Yeah, it was like I started rolling with the tough guys in school. I became more appealing to girls and all of that.
Like,
because like at GS 1 to 3, I'm still short, but I was really short. So
I don't call people short. I'm like 5 on the dot.
Nah, I'm short. I'm short.
I consider everybody tall.
So I used to feel like, which kind of life I did here? Like this, people go for social gatherings and me, I'm just there. Like this babe will go to reasons. So I used to beat myself up.
Wow.
Right then it was now SS2. Then this girl really liked me. And I was shocked.
Wow.
So I began to define myself based on the fact that someone can like me. And so I began to roll with the bad guys ish. And then I drifted away. So I got to school, Obafemi Awolowo University.
Okay.
And it didn't even take 2 weeks, but I entered one church like that. And I literally felt the presence properly.
Wow.
Right? Like, not because I've not felt the presence before, but I actually felt this like on another level.
So are we talking like a Shekinah glory type like manifestation?
No. Not like metaverse, like going to like another portal. Those things. No.
Don't have me just Doctor Strange yourself into church.
No. More like, okay, you might not have all the answers, but this guy's real. Kind of feeling like this guy's real. Now you can pursue it. Like you can pursue it. Like you can now look for how to get the answers from a logical point. But first hold this one that this guy is real.
Yeah, it's like a light bulb moment.
Yeah, like, exactly. So from then I started pursuing it. Like, what's the logical point to this guy? Okay, I know that is real from the Bible and all of that. Right, I've already stayed there. Right, but what can I like? How can I communicate to an atheist, someone that doesn't care about my experiences, someone that's probably seen the experience and don't care, and all of that, right? So that was where I started from. But it was February 20.
No, we have a date. Okay.
28, 2012. Right. Yeah.
Okay.
I think February 2012.
That's you know what? It's so. I've actually spoken to other people that have said similar things. Like something happens and it just like it clicks.
Clicks immediately.
It's just real. I don't know. Honestly, I feel like it's just God, the revelation thing. When your heart is ready, I feel like God will then reveal. You seek Him and then He shows you who He is. And then I see you. I recognize. I get it. Yes.
Yeah.
But of all these things, I'm not going to lie. Going to Obafemi Awolowo University is questionable behavior.
Yeah, agreed.
It's because why?
Sorry
if you did. All the offense. Actually, I take it back. My brother is Ibu's family member, so I know of all the offense. I mean it. I'm not gonna. You don't even have to defend your choice.
It's not so bad. At that point, it was like that. It was all in all. Now I don't know, right? I won't say I don't care, but I don't know, right? But then it was like super great school. Secondly, it was like one of the most spiritual school in Nigeria. Like you get to like experience God on.
Let me take that back.
Take it.
I take it back.
Right. If you go to OAU, there's a very high chance that you find God.
Not
randomly.
That's why I was going to say I take it back. Because now that I think about my life, there's people that will judge me over this episode. There's 55 million people. I can already see Bolu. I'm sorry. So most people that I know that have gone to OU, they actually turned out really, really, or they either like this way or that way. They don't decide.
And if they went that way, it was a decision. It wasn't because they were slapping the gospel on them.
They actually
slapped that gospel.
So I take it back. It's not questionable behavior. It's good behavior. I take it back. Okay, so back to the podcast because that diverted me a bit. Yes, please enjoy. Yeah. So you're in OAU. You've had this like light bulb moment, I'll call it.
Okay.
But I'm assuming you're still young. You say you're still, now you can search and discover. And what would you say is the biggest, I guess, over the years, the biggest thing that has helped you learn more about Christ? I mean, because obviously I can say Bible and stuff, but like in real life experiences, there has to be, for me, I would say my parents, because realistically, my father dying literally forced me to like, do I really believe this thing? Do I, but like, what was the biggest trigger for you to decide that, okay, all right, we're doing this for real?
Okay, firstly, at different points, right, I have had to reevaluate my decision to follow Christ, right? Not because I don't want to follow Christ, but because we come into like positions or like very, 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 tensions that like really question your faith. Yeah. And it wasn't from a place of doubt. It was from a place of, give me an explanation. Right. So
like it's like what type of vibe?
Yeah, it's more like if you look into the book of Luke. Hey, wow, that's really nice. Look into the book of Luke.
That's the end of the show. Thank you for watching.
Sorry, Gen Z guys, I'm sorry. But if you look into the book of Luke, you see Mary and you see Zachariah. Okay. Right? One person, they both ask the same question. Right? But one comes from a place of doubt. Like, is it possible for me to still give birth? While Mary is saying, how can these things happen?
Like how, literally, how is it going to happen?
Do you get, like, they were both asking the same question, but they were asking it from different art posture. So the art posture I was really like looking for wisdom from was, okay, what do I do? How is this thing happening? Give me explanations for this, right? And all of that. So one part in the scripture says that if you're on the side of truth, right, you find Jesus, right? So what happens is that if you are really opening your heart up to see answers from a place of belief,
inevitably you find him.
You begin to see things. Exactly. So I didn't have a structure on how to necessarily do that route, that whole thing. But one thing that I did was I submitted myself to authority.
Yes, please.
Right, so I had my own
discipleship for the people.
Exactly, like that's. I had a pastor. Right, I had two pastors throughout my stay in school. Three, right. One when I joined, the other one middle way, and the last one I worked with her, but she was my pastor, and I gleaned from all of them. One thing that I'm big on is submission, right? Regardless of how I feel, whether the person is my age mate or I'm older or whatever it is, I submit to that person as far as the person is in authority. Now, luckily for me, I was submitted to people who could actually give proper wisdom from the scriptures. Not only experiences, but they were also intellectuals, right? So I have a pastor called Pastor Victor, right? Pastor Victor, props to you if you're watching this. All right, sorry about that.
No, right? Hey, we love you, Pastor Victor.
So Pastor Victor introduced me to what I've been looking for years, right? That logical standpoint, introduced it to me maybe after 4 years, right? So what was I doing between those 4 years? I was navigating God and Christ, the way I did. But when introduced it sparked up, a new level of,
you can actually defend this thing.
Yes,
it's not just I feel I believe there's
exactly
explanations
made sense.
The theology is theology.
You get right. So I really thank God for submission first. Secondly, right, actually study. Right, you can't even overemphasize
Facts.
or underemphasize that place. You have to, right? But so when you now merge study and submission, what you have is proper guardrails, because there's a way you can study and begin to go into extremes of what you think God is. I mean, there's a particular guy rolling all over YouTube now, and he's studying. But the study now.
The study did not study.
You understand? It's just extreme, just throwing off the book of this one.
Because there's no guardrails. You're right.
Exactly. So submission helps you with guardrails. Bro, you are doing more than. No, this is how you balance it. This is how you rightly divide it. This is how you, and all of that. So
I think a lot. I'm just listening to you, and it's something that my brother used to say. My brother used to say that so much of who we become is dependent on the Holy Spirit. literally, what are the chances that you find the right type of leaders that teach you the right thing?
True.
Because I remember I was listening to Pastor Stephanie. Shout out to Pastor Stephanie. You're my mentor in my head.
That's Stephanie
Ike-Okafor. In my mind, she's my mentor. But
in your mind,
in my mind,
when she came forward,
I feel I was there.
You could have collected her number.
There was too many of us. Okay, so she was saying something one time, and she was like, she had a vision, and it's like at a dinner or something, and the point was that a witch was poisoning the milk for the children, right? And basically, the idea was that there's all these people that are just getting to know Christ, they're just starting, and the information that they're receiving is poisoned. They, in their minds, they're really like trying to find the
people, right? Like on the path of truth.
But they're receiving, because the devil is okay with you believing this, but you also have to believe this. Just add a little bit of a lie and then scatter everywhere. So then I was just thinking as you were speaking, how much of grace God shows us, right? And I'm not even going to lie to you. I'm convinced it's because when you're a part of a lineage of grace, there's certain things that have been sorted for you outside of you. That certain things, you just find leaders that will, not just finding leaders, the Holy Spirit will just, without your permission, without
just reroute you.
Because I think there's generational grace that aligns you in certain ways that you're not even aware of. But that being said, I feel like in spite of that, we still have the choice. Everybody, who am I going to be? How am I going to turn out? What's my relationship with Christ going to be like? I personally consider a relationship with Christ like a real, actual, like, because I feel like people just talk about relationship with Christ, but it's like a real entity. Like, for real, I have to talk to this person.
Yeah.
So my question is, you're dealing with Gen Z. You're engaging with these younger people. Have you experienced, like, how have you been able to navigate the way their minds work versus how you were discipled?
Okay. In the past 1 year, most of what I've done is research, right? I've not necessarily postured yet.
Okay.
Right? I feel like, just disclaimer, 2025 is the year where I necessarily go out.
Starting here, by the way, you heard it here first.
All right. But one thing I've realized, I read a book by James Emery White.
Okay.
Meet Gen Z, right? And one of the major things about this generation is now that not only have they left God, right? Is like God is like an option, right? So it's a different thing to say, I've made this decision, I am leaving God, right? They were older generations were auto code. I don't do. Or I do. Gen Zs are, I go like with this one.
With Zodiac.
Do you understand? So I would like to mix it. I would like to have God here. And I would really love to have God here. It's a really love thing. And then I will also want to pursue some knowledge, right, of astrology, of science, right? Those ones I've not really creeped into. Though I'm seeing on TikTok some witchcraft thingy, where they're like, oh, you are the spirit, you have like, all those things, right? But beyond that, I think that, first of all, if you check the stats in America, I still saw it yesterday, the amount of people buying Bibles in the last 1 year has skyrocketed, right? And they are mostly Gen Zs.
Wow.
Right? So that's amazing. Two, another very funny thing is, there was a particular time the tides changed, where it was mostly ladies coming to church more than guys. Now in America,
I've heard some of those conversations about like, the previous feminization of the church, and then bringing that,
balance
back into church.
So there are a lot of stats that really points to the fact that people are hungry for God. Right? What they need is proper knowledge, not just knowledge, because they also have knowledge.
Not poison milk.
Yeah, they are like I said, I've been able to luckily curate my Instagram such that when I scroll, I'm able to see continuous. But some people, they have like combating knowledge everywhere. Like, the first slide, they're seeing one really great message. The next one, they're seeing one very crazy idea from someone, or the next one. And so they are having it's like a playground of ideas, such like how Paul was like in that marketplace in Athens, and then he was king. Everybody were throwing their own ideas, and he just said, okay, let me throw my own idea, right? So that's what we presently as Christians are meant to do. We are not only meant to come from a space of, everybody shut up, let me talk. You are going to come from a place of people are talking and you talk.
And you have to present a superior argument.
Do you understand? Right? So Paul goes into the marketplace, right? Sits with people, or I don't even know if you stand. Most likely, Paul looks like he would stand. Right? So he
wasn't.
stands.
Hey, he wasn't tall either.
He wasn't tall. He wasn't tall. Probably had a squeaky voice, which is so weird. But anyways,
that's why I wrote all them letters.
Brilliant guy, right? And then he went into the marketplace and then giving so much wisdom.
Yes.
Now, this wisdom wasn't only normal wisdom. It was wisdom that it could pinpoint the figures that those secular people were following. So for instance, he made mention in Acts chapter 17 or 17, where he said that, oh, listen to your poet. This is what your poet says. Now, he now says, with what he has said, now let me explain God. So we need, or me, when my approach is, I need to be able to place my finger on the pulse of what the Gen Zs are thinking, so that I can be able to glean how I can explain or talk about the gospel from there, right? So that's what Paul did. He's like, I know you guys, I know what you listen to. This is what he said, but I can explain to you that this is what it is, right? So to the unknown God, okay, I know you guys think it's an unknown God, right? But let me now explain what he means. So you take their own idols and explain the gospel out of it and tell them that, oh guys, like this is you. So that's the way, that's my approach, and that's why I'm doing so much research, right?
Because then you have to learn about Egypt's gods.
Exactly, like you
That's
need
crazy.
you need to learn about their idols a lot, right? It's like, it's wild. Right?
You know, you saying I'm not intellectual. This is giving research, PhD in theology.
No, that's too. I get a bones.
Okay. I don't understand. It's some from somewhere.
Yeah.
My ancestors used to say it's from clap
that
we go to das. I think that's what it is.
That's from. Why don't you speak pidgin?
Because I don't want
global.
You know, enter.
Okay.
So okay. That honestly, I don't even know what to say. Yes, Selah.
Yeah.
Let's move forward. First of all, let me dilute this conversation a little bit. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations to show. Please get him something to show. Please get him something to show. Congratulations on your engagement.
Thank you very much.
It looks. I stalked a little bit. Congratulations.
Thank you.
This is my question. In loving a significant other, right, your person, and loving God, what are the intricacies that you've discovered? Because for me, I was like, I don't have energy for this. This is too much. This is a lot of balancing acts. Because I want.
Are you in a relationship?
No.
Is that why you're not?
No. I'm getting married this year. I'm also single, but Jesus. No, but like in the past, I've always been like
that conflict.
I want to pray all night. What's this? And I'm not even gonna lie. I have like my own habits are more like dependent on Jesus, and I just find human beings just a little boring, But sorry, not my traumas coming out. Sorry, but I really am curious of like the intricacies of managing these like huge, like heavy, not just emotions but spiritual positions.
Firstly, it's something that you have to always do continuously. I'm not even married yet. Props to the married people, man. It's like
shout out to the.
I mean, right? I'm pretty sure juggling it is a lot, right? But I think that mutual understanding is important, right? Because, so for instance, there was a particular season in my life where my fiancé, that sounds really nice.
I'm happy for you. Look at God. Look at Jesus.
Okay, so she really naturally she likes to be alone in the morning, right? Like just praying to God, being in a quiet time. I'm very active in the morning.
Wow. Why?
Very active. Like once I stand up from bed, I'm very active, right? So when I stand up, I'm like, I want to text my babe, I want to call and all of that.
She's talking to Jesus.
Right. But there was no proper communication on that. So me, I was always like disturbing. Then it got like piled up, right? So she was deficient in time with God, right? But wasn't talking because she didn't want to hurt my feelings, right? over time she blew up. Like, can't do this. I have to talk.
Yeah, because
she's giving code.
So
so when I talk in the morning, she's giving code, and I'm like, why is sounding this way? We were good last night when we spoke. And all of that, right? So I had to clock that. So that's where I'm saying mutual understanding, right? I'm very active, right? In terms of like I can navigate my energy, right? Meaning that I can finish my calls now with my babe. She wants to go and sleep. And then I pick up a praying time with God. Right? I mean, personally, that's
your energy is more like
exactly.
when I have to do it, I'll do it. It doesn't have to.
Right. So that's one of the things that I've been doing lately, Seth. Like, once we are done with our call, I pray in the nights. I pray, I wake up, she's praying. I don't even disturb until like 10, 11. And then we text and all of that. So it took us about a year to find that balance. Right. So it's continuous. Like it's something that you always try to figure out. But of course, on the scale, God first, always, right? God first, right? And you know, like Paul said, right, is the reason why he's
what are you gonna do?
Because
what are you gonna do?
He's going to take his mind off, that 100% God kind of. But I believe that, right, with the right person, right, with the right person that God has put in your life, right, serving God will be easier. Serving God will be more profound for you, because what you need to now know is that this person that you have put in my life, I cannot lead this person or I cannot build this person without your help. So I need to always defer to you.
Like that reliance becomes real. It's more than me now.
Like,
I have to do this for real.
Please. So you are more connected because now you have another person you're responsible for. Yeah. So that's how I see it personally. So that should help you, right? Like, so all those traumas that are quite hidden, right? Like, please throw it away, right? Just believe that human beings can be very, very amazing.
No, I like human beings.
But you just told us that you're boring now.
We'll cut it out.
Cut it.
Okay. No, but thank you. Honestly, your answer was very, very helpful. So I'm the drama. It's okay. Okay, since you've said that, thank you for coming. I'm just playing.
Not
so okay.
Send me away.
No. Okay, so I have to ask you this. What is your hope for 2025?
Hope, personal.
Like, best case scenario. If you said, I want to paint the best 2025, what does that look like?
Paint the best 2025 for myself?
For yourself.
Like I said, I've done a lot of research. Not a lot. Let me know but I've done is I think for me 2025. First of all, the word for my church is go. Right. So I think that's personal to me. It's not only like a church word for me. It's more like no one lights, a candle and places it under a bushel. Like it's time to like all of this knowledge that you're amassing, all of these conversations that you're having, all of this low-key discipleship you are doing. You go to so my church is in Yaba, I stay in Bega. You go to Yaba during the week to meet people in church, just have people come around, sometimes wake up in the midnight and tell people let's pray and all of that, right? You figure out that God sees you in the secret, right? And so I just feel like 2025 is that
it's
time.
Like go for it.
Yeah, like it's like all of the things that you have learned, put it into execution. Start doing those things that have laid on your heart. Start going out there. Start working. So, like I said, I don't always have like I don't do vision boarding.
Me either.
Right. So
me either.
All of that. But one thing I believe strongly is that 2025, personally for me, first of course, I get married this year.
Yay!
God, I beg. Right?
God, I beg.
So then number 2 is that year where I get to like really express like knowledge, express the things that God has put on my inside.
Like a birthing.
Yeah, like begin to see it manifest in the physical. Begin to, that's what I can say.
Show forth. Go forth. Exactly. I should say this before we close out the episode. I think end of December, I came to the consciousness that is, I realized I had a clear knowing in my spirit that 2025 is a portal year. There's literal open windows in heavens that we need to step into, and it's literally timed. And I'm not even joking.
Like you have to, it's like Kairos.
It's literally 2025 is a Kairos year. Everything that we step out to do in this year, God is going to amplify. And this is just my own, well, maybe it's me, but I'm convinced. I'm not even like, I'm convinced for especially West Africa. So every single thing that is like go forth and this thing, I'm convinced that it's going to be amplified. Not like, oh, now it's blown up and stuff, but the impact, the real,
the influence, the fruit,
that gives there. That planting, bro. Trust me, 2025 is the year.
Is the year. I have very similar like leanings, right? One of the things my pastor says is live this year like Jesus is coming, right? Like, so not only are you thinking of the fact that he's coming, right, but also he's married this year, right? Not only the fact that he's coming to take his bride, but also the fact that
all the work he's giving you, gotta do it
with urgency.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Everything he lays on you, just do it.
Exactly. That. So. See, mommy, I told you I was in tune. Okay, so no, but thank you. My final question for you: what does God's love mean to you?
God's love. First, the idea of.
I will take a bite while we think about it because these
I think I just want to like give it in the best way possible.
Yes, please go ahead.
To the best of my knowledge, right? God's love is that stuff tastes great. Like, was it made from the scratch? Right? It was.
Fourth wall, cruel.
It's really nice.
It's really good.
Let me take so that I can.
Thank you, Fluffy Cafe. Thank you.
Okay, so God's love. So the idea of the gospel, majorly, is that God decided to chase humans.
Yes.
One, bam. Right? Like we are not the one doing the chasing.
Yes.
He's the one doing the chasing. Right. The parable of the lost coin, the parable of the prodigal son, the parable of the lost sheep puts us, those three, we are in those positions as the lost. Right. No matter how much you want to say we are part of the 99, we are also also the one.
You're still the one.
Yeah, that God constantly chases.
Yeah.
That, God is always chasing.
Yes.
All right. It's a chasing culture. If you and I'll just tie it up with this, right? When the prodigal son came back to knowledge, like you said earlier, God reveals himself. That's his own job. We don't find God except he reveals.
Yes.
Right. So that's the first interface. So that love that he has for us is what has made him humble enough to say, this guy that I created, I want to show him myself. All right. So that's really the love of God. It's like, so back to the prodigal son analogy, is that the prodigal son came and Jesus was talking to people in that context, that culture, right? As people who understand the place of honor, the place of what it means to go, abscond and come back. So he wasn't talking from an heavenly realm where like he's just saying heavenly conversations. This is what happened. He ended that conversation with the fact that when he found this son, it wasn't the son
because it was our fault, and then
he found him.
You did find
right?
him.
He was lost.
Yeah.
That's how people know that if he came home, by context, there's a very high chance they will flog that boy. Yeah. So he found him and went to him. Right, to protect him, probably from people beating him up or something like that. That's God's love. Is that regardless of how much we have messed up, right? This is not a license or your proclivities to your flesh and all of that. But regardless of how much you have messed up, God still wants you to come to Him. Right, because He loves you. That love is, like we say it in charismatics, it's an action word, right? It's a chasing word. I love you, right? I'm chasing you down, right? So no matter how much, you can't chase God as much as God is chasing you, right? Like you're chasing God, you want to figure out things and all of that, but His love always chases after you, right? So that's God's love, really. That's God's love.
In profound. True, and a perfect way to end the episode. I always used to say, I remember I was teaching a class in church and I said, even if you are the only person in life, Jesus will have still died. And that's the extent of his love. It's forever.
Yeah.
You cannot, you're not like, God loves me and I love him too. It's not comparable.
Yeah,
His
it's
love
not the same.
is the reason that you can.
Yeah.
So love it. That's perfect. And I just wanted to say thank you. Thank you so much. I'm sure that this episode is gonna touch somebody. I'm sure.
Yeah.
So yes.
Please, to make it like where you can put all those chords so that they are, God loves you.
Yeah. Okay. You got it. No, I'll put some Theophilus Sunday in the background.
That's too intense.
That's a lot. Okay, no, but thank you.
We want people to hear what we're saying, not that they are not good.
No. It's love.
Yeah.
Leave traveling. Focus on love first.
Yeah.
Okay, but thank you so much.
Yeah.
I'm
thank you so
deeply appreciative of you being here, and I'm sure I spent 25. Corona for Jesus. So thank you, and thank you for watching. I hope that you find the courage to accept God's love. And like I always say to close out the episode, no, before I say that, please share, like, if you know somebody that's struggling with God's love or love in general, or that has trauma about getting married, my peoples, send them. I'm just playing, no drama, I'm just playing. Anyway, send them this episode and like, share, and just spread God's love. And like I always say, please know that you are loved deeper and even more true than you can ever imagine. My name is Gbohunmi, and this has been Eyewitness. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.